Okay, you guys. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jeneth Blackert,
And I'm Bianca Reina.
and today we are talking about following your divine flow.
That's right. This is the How Hustle Show, and we're doing the Morning Mystic Divine Flow for our morning topic. One of the things that I think is really fun about doing this show is that, gosh, there can be things that come up at any point in time, and that will automatically start to become a topic of conversation, right?
It's like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna
And there we are.
get.
How's everybody feeling? Good morning. Shouts out to Shara, Manisha, Dana, Joe, Linda. Who else is on the line? I know there's a couple other people I can't even
In the
see
chat.
from here and in the chat. Thank you for joining us on YouTube. We've got a little bit of Mystic Space Weather news as well. And I'll jump into that whenever Jennifer is ready. And Nisha says, hi, Jeneth. Hello, Leonka. Shira says, things to do for a reason on purpose. Yes. And
Things
life
do
is
happen, yeah.
such is life. Yes, it is. Hello, everyone. Love you too. Yeah. So yeah, we'll jump into that part in just a second. Let me just do a little bit of space weather news. All right. Today is February 4th, 2025. And for Mystic Space Weather News, today we have the sun booming and cracking again. So
It's just going to implode with its hole and everything.
well, there are some warnings that are coming out. I'll have to share that on a longer show or a little more of a special, if you will, to talk about that one. But this one today says, and this comes to us from spaceweather.com, it says strong Earth-directed solar flares, fast-growing sunspot 3981 is directly facing Earth and crackling with strong solar flares. An M8.8 class explosion on February 3rd was only a percentage points below an X class, and X class, as we know, is the highest. NOAA, the forecasters estimate an 85% chance of M-class solar flares and a 20% of X-class flares on the 4th. So be looking out for that today. And that will sometimes strike up a geomagnetic storm, and that's where we get those auroras, and that's where we get all that heightened photons in our atmosphere, and where we get all so it's definitely lots of ascension happening, lots of DNA upgrades. But with that, of course, we're always talking about how you need to hydrate. Here's a couple more things that I want you to be on the lookout for too, because Jenneth and I have been noticing something in our meditations lately. And one of the things that we really noticed is that we're starting to get communication with our higher self, with intellectual beings. For me, it's the Galactic Federation. I always say the Galactic Federation of Light. For some reason, that's the way it comes to me. Or I'll always say the Galactic Light Federation. Apparently, that word light for me was something that I really needed to understand. I think maybe at the time that I was starting to channel, I was really struggling with, is this the highest form of communication? Am I communicating with a
Higher being.
higher, right? And so the word light kept coming in whenever they were giving the title. And really that they explained to me that they don't really have the title. It is all of collection of collective of light. And it is here formulated to I guess have an identity for us here on Earth. And so the ascension symptoms that I wanted to see if you were experiencing as well, and to be on the lookout for, because these are the ways in which our gifts are really becoming heightened and expanded, and you can lean into it. So the ascension symptoms say seeing energy, so they can include things like seeing energy and shadow beings, seeing and hearing, and lots of people are experiencing this, and I'm coming back to this because lots of people are experiencing, although they're not being reported, those Dior bags or drones, if you will, are still being seen in the sky, and most of them are being misidentified. Some are actually drones, and some are actually orbs. And many people are believing that the orbs are actually sentient beings, and many of them are from the Galactic Federation of Light. And so, or they can be our loved ones and other things like that. Like, so some people really express that they have experienced orbs in other ways as well. But since this is just in heightened awareness and in public mass media, especially over on the TikTok, my God, it's TikTok and YouTube, boy, let me tell you, if you just search up those two things over the last 2 days, boy, everybody seems to have a sighting. And whether it's true or not, or whether that's AI, that's for you to decipher. But I wanted to put forth some of this information so that way you can have your own connection and then ask if it's for the highest good. And that's how I always know. I always say, highest good, highest good. And because I'm the person, the soul, and the body, every other entity has to oblige and they have to listen. They have to either leave if they're not of the highest good and then the highest information of light. So the symptoms can include seeing energy and shadow beings, seeing and hearing, feeling energy auroras, seeing sparkles, light flashes, and orbs, seeing light ships, seeing swirling universe, adore and flashes.
Cool.
Right?
These are fun.
And many of these with your eyes closed.
Right.
It says telepathy with sentient energy beings. Jonathan's experienced a lot of that lately. Telepathy with other humans. We experience that.
A little bit.
Yeah, I was like, what is the word I'm trying to say right now? And it was telepathy. You totally gave me that picture in my mind without saying words, y'all. Noticing your feet, your face and body changing, hearing high-pitched rings, clicking and tapping. I have that a lot, the high-pitched ring, hearing people talking in parallel worlds, body tremors, vibrations and buzzing, feeling webs of energy and body tingles. I've always been able to see the webs of energy. So that's really fun. And then feeling floaty, spacey, and foggy, strong intuition, telepathy, and seeing energy, feeling very connected to Mother Earth, feeling blissful and groovy. And then, of course,
groovy.
Groovy.
Who wrote this? Somebody that was born in the
Right?
70s.
Right? Feeling blissful and groovy. Right?
Groovy.
And then physical headaches, emotional purges, hot or cold, insomnia.
Oh, I thought that was hot flashes.
Insomnia, blurry eyes, and gassy.
Right? I didn't want those.
Just heads up, heads up. And then the other was basically anything that has to do with the purge. So basically, if you're having these lessons that are coming up for you and things that that are coming up to be let go. So there might be some people or places or things that you've committed to that you kind of really not feeling that serve you anymore. And this is just an opportunity and an invitation to do that with grace as well. So those are some of the symptoms that people are experiencing. And these are some of the things to lean into if you are experiencing that and really have fun and ask for more guidance around it too. And always, always say, hey, make sure high is good, everybody else out.
11-11.
And that's what I got from Mystic Space Weather News.
Perfect. Well, so today I had a phenomenal weekend, you guys, and something really cool happened that, doesn't usually happen. When you notice, here's one thing, here's two things, here's three things. And in this case, there were four things. And Lianka knows what I'm going to talk about, but I also wanted to say, do you remember with Amy Robeson when I brought her in and she told me to supplement, and
Yes.
maybe you could find somebody in town that actually has an ailment also, or works on certain ailments that could help you do yoga these days. Well, when we had company over the weekend, and it was my husband's, sorry about that. I'm slacking on letting people in here, man. She's like, look, there's people.
That's what we get for doing the whole switchboard, but there we go. We have to do it this way because sometimes we had a couple bad actors, be on the show. So that's what happens when you go live. Okay. Anyway, I'm sorry.
Well, she said that she actually has a yoga teacher that had a hip replacement that teaches yoga, and she can describe a pose. And sometimes it's not in her practice, and she will say that. And I feel like, well, that was just yet another sign. She said, you need to look for a studio or something in town for you to do that. So okay, two people saying almost the same thing within a week, pay attention.
Ooh.
I think that's one of my, as I have matured in my life, that's something that I pay more attention to. Well, with this, I was saying it's so cool to watch somebody follow their passion, follow their love, follow their dreams. Well, the
Yeah.
reason that they were in town was because her son is going to graduate school. Well, he's not yet going to graduate school at UT, but he was trying out for the graduate school at UT. Now they live in Virginia. She's a professor at Radford University.
And you have some smart people in
Right.
your family.
A little bit. Well, he is so good. And we watched,
But what?
yes, I'm staying on
Okay,
topic. I
okay,
just wanted to say he's so good.
okay. At what though?
He plays percussion.
Okay, just wanted to people know that the graduate school
Started with a
like
drum set when he was 10,
this is so amazing.
right?
Yeah.
And now he uses all these different instruments and even wine bottles and things to play
That's so
percussion. And he's
badass.
like,
Wow.
yeah. So he and a friend who's also applied for graduate school, they both got tryout interviews.
And
So that's the
that's
whole
very
reason they were
selective, right? So like
so
it's
selective.
only like 30
They
people
they choose 3 out of 30 tryouts.
that are even invited to come and try out.
Tryouts, correct.
Wow, that's amazing, amazing, amazing.
Correct.
Like that is so crazy cool.
No, it's so crazy cool. And when I found out they're only selecting 3 and there's 2 of you right in my house, like what would be, wouldn't that be so freaking
Yeah,
cool?
it'd be beautiful.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So it was just so cool having a young person. He's 22 years old, and we've heard all the behind the scenes and we've watched all the behind the scenes, but one of the behind the scenes was he really went to school in music and kind of told his parents that he would get a teaching certificate as well so he could teach music, or he would get a liberal arts degree. And about halfway through he came to his parents and said, will you still support me if I just focus on music performance?
Wow.
And it just made I'm going to cry so much during the show out of so much love, because I'm so in love with somebody that is in love with their dream, with their passion, with their purpose, and they, follow it.
Yeah.
They watch, hey, I hate this. And they navigate back to that thing that they truly, truly love. And to the point that he has really mastered this.
That's amazing.
And he's got other things going on. He's a little ADHD and, but I mean, it probably supports him the way that he plays the drums with it to here, to here, to here, yeah, and a foot going at the same time.
Cher says, I needed to hear that. Oh, that's
Yeah.
beautiful,
Well, I
Jen.
wanted to share this because I needed to hear this. And I needed to hear it so dynamically that I heard it 4 times this weekend, that it was back in my face about musicians specifically following their
Oh,
passion.
you're gonna make me cry.
Well, so on Saturday, we have the cousin that I have that lives right next to Leonka. You some of you guys that have followed the show have heard about this, like this unique situation that we have. Well, she is a bass player in the symphony.
Yeah, that's
And
so cool.
she went to graduate school at Yale and now teaches at this well, she plays in the Austin Symphony, and she also started up her own little group called Austin Unconducted. Like this, she's young and just followed her passion, and she really, really is a professional musician.
Yeah.
So we met up, and here is the 2 percussionists and her talking music
How cool.
on a educational level as well as on a lifestyle level. And, it was just so beautiful to watch somebody following their heart and their passion, especially in an area where most of society would be like, you just can't make it in that
Yeah. I
industry.
mean, I used to be a musician, and
Oh, I didn't know
everybody,
that.
I was a lead singer for Tejano.
Oh, I did.
band.
Well, that's not a musician. That's a singer.
No,
Just
that
kidding.
is and I also we had a R&B group when I was in high school, and
Mm.
so I'd always been a singer. Like that
Yeah.
was my passion. That was the
Wow.
only thing I wanted to do since I
Mm.
was in second grade. And
You,
so,
you got a mic in front of you.
yeah, and
You
I
can
still
belt out
managed to
the
get
occasional
still managed
song.
to get a mic in front of me. So I know what that feels like. I know what it feels like to want to follow your dreams. And I remember when I, would have my grandparents be like, well, you can't put all your eggs in one basket. And I knew
Mhm.
that to be
Right.
true. I knew that I needed to go to
But,
college, but
well, did you?
I also
I mean,
put,
I mean, you
I
could have
quit,
been like a
I
Taylor
quit, I
Swift.
quit singing because I had to focus on college, like because
Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
So you were derailed on your
I did
purpose.
was derailed. That made me cry. I was derailed. And
But we found you back in front of a mic, so it's all good now. It just took another 30 years.
I then got into radio and advertising because I wanted to be close to the music industry. And so I
Hmm.
felt like I could still be a part of the music industry because I was always planning to go back.
Hmm.
And I just never did.
Yeah.
And that's how I fell into marketing and television and everything like
Uh-huh.
that, which I loved my
Yeah.
career, but I, now found myself with this beautiful new passion
Yeah.
for creating, really sharing with the world in a whole different way.
Uh-huh.
Will I pick up a mic in that way? Maybe,
Yeah.
I think anything's possible now, but I didn't
Yeah.
used to have that feeling before.
Tarek does those raps and those poems.
I know,
Yeah,
right?
right. He
Yeah.
brings it in every single day. So, so that's kind of how my weekend was with the family. And then I wore my Taylor Swift hoodie, as most of you see, it's like my favorite hoodie of all times. It's like blue and it has her in like all of her little people. And I wore it the last day that Becca was here, and she's like, "Did you go to the Eras tour?" And I told her the stories about how many times I got derailed from going to the Eras
Oh,
tour.
wow.
Um, yeah, and I was like, but I did see it in the movie theater. And I said, the truth is, I don't know how much I love her music as I love who she is.
Um, yeah,
Right.
yeah,
And
I get that.
especially in this work of being, I really feel like she's totally, utterly being and following her flow
Oh,
every
sure.
single day, every single moment, every single word that comes out of her mouth, too,
Yeah.
is so intentional. Um, I just adore her. I adore her. I don't know that I love all her music, but I do like some of them. So, but I do, I think she matured because I really thought she was very foo-foo-y like back in the day. But now that she's matured a little and really knows her stage and the way she shows up, and she's so embodied that it's just here's another person, a young person that followed it from the get-go. Like,
Like Lady Gaga.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
that
There's
kind of
so
brings us.
many.
Mhm.
And Timberlake. So yesterday I went to the Timberlake concert. It was phenomenal. And
I love
but
Timberlake.
he's just so him.
Yeah.
Like he's just him, but he did share a story about how he was, just this Tennessee boy,
Wow.
a teenager with a dream. And then that was my fourth validation that I was like, okay, Jenna, how much are you in your flow every single day, embodied in that way?
Wow.
And it was just so much in my face the last 3 days. I'm just like, I surrender, universe. I will. Yes, I will do more of this mic work. I will do more. And I think another piece that I got was the experience of it. All of these performers, they offer an experience where you walk away and you have a different sense of you. And I would really love to make this show that.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I do feel that experience that we had on the 25th was just the beginning of
Oh,
of
of
what
course.
it could look like. That changed me.
Yeah.
And it brought up some deep, deep shit that I didn't even know was there, that I would always just like snarf off as a joke. And no, I'm like here to look at it all. I'm here to look at my resistance in every single way possible. I'm here to, really acknowledge what I've come here for
Nice.
and what is my flow and what I like to say, my
Yeah.
purpose,
The,
right?
the reason why Tony Robbins was kind of like poo-pooing
Find your
purpose,
purpose.
right, was because so many people, he's been hearing so many people have like anxiety about it. Like there, he said he was talking to like a 22-year-old who was like, oh my gosh, I don't know what to do. I can't find my purpose. What is my purpose? And he was like, man, he was like, what if our purpose didn't have to be this? He says, and he said, I fell for it too. You know, it's this big, long, drawn out thing. And I wrote all these, you know, fancy words about like everybody's got to be happy and I got to be changed and the world is a better place because I've been it and I have changed the world and blah, blah, blah. Yes, that is a greater, grander vision for himself, right?
Mhm.
But he says, what if our purpose, what if in our life we can have several purposes? And what if our purpose is directed based upon the roles and the results we want from how we show up in our lives?
Mhm.
And because there are so many different roles that we do play,
Mhm.
and, you know, what if we could choose those with more intentionality? And I'm paraphrasing, but I thought that was, yeah, that's cool. I get that because I think that all of those different things will lead you to where you were meant to be anyway.
Yeah, I do too. And
Um,
that's why we pretty much demanded that Julia choose some sort of education after she took a semester off after high school.
yeah,
Because we were like, you've got to at least try something.
yeah,
You've got to put your
yeah,
toe
yeah,
in.
yeah,
And if you hate it, maybe you'll learn something about it that'll guide you to something else.
yeah.
And thank goodness, luckily, she loves it.
Good. Very good. Does she? She's going and everything.
She loves it so
Yeah, she's
much.
studying to be a nail tech, but not like, I mean, the kind that like they do all this like
Like art.
fancy.
It's more art.
Yes, I mean that it's art, really. And she's
Mhm.
also a singer too. So there's a lot of
Yeah.
creativity behind that soul.
Yep.
One of the things that some people say, Manisha says Taylor Swift can command such a following as Prince
Mhm.
William and his children, like for real, who all wanted to be there for their London concert. Yeah, like I mean,
Funny.
she's got that, you know, love her or hate her, and she's definitely got that like quality about her,
And
to where
haters
she,
are gonna hate.
yeah, they're gonna hate. I get it. I like that, you know, I love Mariah Carey and people are like, Mariah Carey. And I'm like, yeah, I'm a big old Mariah Carey fan. And yeah, you know, like some people
Mhm.
weren't that fascinated by her, but you know, that is the type of presence that she commands because of
Yeah.
being all of her. And
And if it, I mean, heck, you can't have everybody love you.
no, right? Because I mean, honestly, people who there was a one of our mentors told us that, you know, for every person that judges you or hates on you, if you will, like you get $5,000 to $3,000 richer or something like that. And I was like, oh, that means I'm
Oh
showing
yeah,
up.
that was awesome.
Yeah, I was like, that means I'm showing up, and that
Yeah.
means that there's people there that have some type of opinion. Then there must be some other people that are really resonating,
Yeah.
right? And that's the reason why you have so many different people that
It's
are
like
being called
polarized.
to show up in their full self. Because what
Yeah.
may land, like y'all might despise my voice or something's funky, and you're like, yeah, I ain't really feeling her, but you might be feeling Jenneth, right? Like, or the different speakers that come on the show. This is the reason why there's so many people, and why you are so needed at this time to
Mhm.
come and join in that orchestra. Somebody had made the comment about what I had said last time about, you know, us being all part of this bigger orchestra. Karen said, after Leonka saying the last time, that has stuck with me, we are all part of an orchestra to express how important our part is in the world. Yes, that's the reason
Yeah.
why what you have, whether it's photography, whether it's painting, to express that. And even if you don't show other people in the world, it's coming from that place of creativity and you're being in your whole. And that is how, again, how we all ascend.
Well, and this kind of enters into our little Thursday afternoon conversation that I want to bring up. Like, what if you didn't have to look at this as on purpose from the money? What if the things that you're passionate about you pursue despite the money? So what? Maybe the money comes as the
It's
byproduct.
supposed to. That is the way it's sold to.
Yeah.
Though
I
that
mean,
is the way
that's
I mean, that is the way like most thought
like what
leaders
what
have
if you were
explained it.
so, yeah, I mean, just be so into something that you become almost the best at something so that when y- it's like in your face or you're sucker punched, right? And you're rejected if you're an actor, for example, and you're rejected. Like, what do you do with that? when you are so in love, and it would be devastated. You would be devastated, right? Time after time again. When do you stop following that passion and jump off the highest building like many actors have done? Or
like Lady Gaga, I mean, we were also talking about being sucker punched, right? And being overwhelmed. And I don't know if I derailed your thought of,
no, that's where I was
but
going with it.
yeah, this is where we wanted to go with this conversation. One of the things that the speaker today had to cancel because she wrote in and she said that she was feeling really overwhelmed. I'm paraphrasing, by some of the stuff that's going on in in the US government in the last 4 days. Just felt like so much and this and that. And then I thought,
And she did it overnight.
right, like
Which,
I woke up to this message and I thought, golly, we already promoted you and you've had all this on your calendar for like over a month, right? Over, I think 2 months already. You've had it on your calendar. We had a pre-call, all this stuff, like and I'm thinking, oh, how did you just, like, I felt sucker punched.
yeah.
And this is culmination of another sucker punch, like in my household that I had. And I thought, golly, like, I mean, what? I felt like I felt like that was one of those times where you want to go run and hide.
Mm.
And if that was her energy and she felt like she needed to take a break, and I give her much love and do what you got to do. But I also think that this is the time where, for me, if I feel sucker punched, like,
Or you just want to show up, right?
right,
You'd rather just like shuffle around in your pajamas all day
yeah,
instead of showing
it
up for
like
life.
pull the covers over my head.
Yeah.
Those are the times, like, I realize now that this is the time where I need to double down and
Yeah,
really
that's what
show up.
changes us.
Right? Like, that's the time you push through and you're like, you know what? Fuck it. No, I'm gonna go on the show and I'm gonna talk
Yeah.
about it, you know?
Hell yeah.
And I'm gonna be stronger and bolder, and I'm gonna share this because maybe somebody else will, resonate with it and take something away from it. Dana says resilience. Yeah,
Yes.
even if it's like half funky, but I am showing up in my
Well,
authenticity.
yeah. And let's address that real quick, because resilience can seem like a cloud to protect you, right? But resilience is really those of us that have done our work so that every time, life pulls the rug out from underneath us, we don't just like fall on the ground and want to go to bed.
Yeah, I
Like
think,
that is what, this work does for people, is it helps them go, fuck that. I'm better than that. I'm going to stand up. I'm going to hold my ground and I'm going for this today.
yeah.
And I'm going to look my best. I'm going to strut my stuff and put on my how hustle hat.
Yeah. And I can see, because over the weekend I got some news where, I'm just gonna say it honestly.
Yeah.
I had some finances like going in place where I wanted to make it super easy so that way I could continue to choose the show with no problems, like whatever.
Dying in here.
And I
Sorry, guys, getting naked on you.
I had trusted one of my family members with a kind of access to what, basically what they did was cause my credit score to drop like 41 points. And this is somebody that I deeply trusted. And I mean, there are people that I would never co-sign on anything for, not
Yep.
even my mom at one point, because I have grown up having to protect myself, if you will, from all of this weirdness. And so this was one of those times where I kind of let my guard down, or let this person full form, like, have that over me, and having that be a sucker punch. And I just was like, oh my God, how is this the case? Like, how did I get myself into this trust and then be so blindsided by it? And I was pissed. And the way I get when I'm pissed is like, I mean, it's got to take a lot for me to get mad, but when I get mad at a human, it's like, So, but what I realized is like, oh, hell no. Take out the earrings, we are going. So what I realized though is that I wanted to, instead of having Dana's laughing, she's like, buckle up.
Yeah, right. You got that, right? Like,
yeah, it's like your another
don't fuck
side
with
comes
her.
out. But what I realized was like, no, Lee, I don't want this in my body. I don't want to take this anger. I am not taking this on. And let me tell you, I was pulling out all the things. Like I'm tapping and I'm like, and I'm really being with it, right? I'm like, okay, what can I do to utilize this feeling and this choice and to make it better? And what I wanted to, and there, I really wanted to cover my head and just hide underneath the covers and just ignore the world for a little while because I really pride myself and was really setting myself up to do some great things with taking out a business loan, stuff like that. That sets me back, right? And it hurt. It hurt like a mug, right? Like I have to change my trajectory. That's fine. I'm totally okay with that. And we're gonna, the show's
Yeah.
gonna be fine. It's gonna be great, but I have to choose a different plan. And so one of the things that I realized though was, okay, what can I do with all this potency, with all this anger? And I just decided I was like, I'm gonna use my tools. I'm gonna transmute this and I'm gonna use it as power, as strength to show up better, cooler, for you, more embodied, talk about it on the show and not hide. As much as I wanted to sit there and be like, as much
Yeah.
as I wanted to just like roll over and just be like, damn, and like, God, what is this for? I I wanted to feel that sucker punch, but at the same time, I didn't want to let it win. I don't want to let it win, and I'm not. And that's why I'm here today
Yeah.
with this much passion and fire.
Yeah.
And I was talking about like, we were talking about like what are those things that you choose to do instead of going into like like our speakers today.
Sunshine's in your pocket. Sorry.
Kara said, woo, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, being betrayed by someone you thought
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
it would never would do that to you. And it's
It
like,
wasn't that he did it necessarily on purpose to like jab you,
no,
though.
but
It
it
was,
was a vulnerability,
yes.
right? And nonetheless, it still happened. And
Yeah.
this person knew that I was very important to me
Yep.
and knew I mean, I'm not going to go into all the specifics, but the point being is that, okay, fine, I'm gonna use this fire in my belly and I'm
Yeah.
gonna go stronger and it's gonna come out even way better because I am so fired up now. I'm taking off
Yeah.
my
I
ears for
mean,
a different
and
reason.
it
Yeah.
might be fun for us to do just a tad bit of processing,
Yeah.
just so that you guys know how to do your own processing around something that's come out of the blue, like literally rug taken from you.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna give one more example.
Mm.
So, like we just saw the Grammys and Lady Gaga is a big, huge, super mega star, right? Love her, or hate her, she's super mega star.
She's
Well,
cool.
one of the things there back in college, I was reading that there was a whole Facebook group dedicated to Stephanie, which was her real
Yeah.
name, will never be famous. And she was
Uh-huh.
ridiculed, and like people would
That's cool.
share this stuff all over the internet. And she was really like, they made fun of her. That's bullying, straight up bullying her because she knew what she came here to do and her passion. And she put so much out there. Like they would throw her flyers in the mud and then post it on online. Look at her now. She didn't let that get to her. She took that and she transmuted that passion and she put it as a fire in her belly and she made it happen. Like I could see myself having wanting to just run and hide and stop. But I see things like that now and I'm thinking, good for you, girl. You go.
Yeah.
Dang, man, that it takes some big old cojones to sit there and do that.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyway, and it can work out. It will work out, is what I'm trying to say.
Well,
It'll be better and cooler and fresher and all the ers.
yeah.
If you can utilize it right and of course use your tools like she said and
Yeah.
doing the
I
processing.
truly think everything that we conclude is bad is actually something to move our spirit forward.
Yes.
Our even consciousness in general and God consciousness. Every single thing. And, sometimes, yeah, your human body might,
Yes.
go into hyper nervous system overdrive. And that's also just an awareness for you to go, okay, well, I still have some work to do here.
Yeah.
What can I do to calm my nervous system around this and see the gift of this
Yep.
instead of the, sucker punch that I can only see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're still wavering there, but at least
You're like, I'm still not quite seeing the gift in this
no,
yet.
I did. I did. I really asked for it. Joe says, we are the energy and the events that we create in our lives. Welcome them and ask what is their message for us. Oh,
Yeah.
believe me, I was sitting there with a candle, wiping tears away and saying, okay, what is it that what energy space and consciousness can I be? Or what was I first I asked, what is it that I'm being that's allowing this to show up in my life as this way? And then what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to have this be the lesson that it truly be, right?
Yeah.
And like how, because we're all going to continue to get lessons, and we came here to earth to have them. So I don't want to go through this again. I don't want to relearn this one. So what energy, space, and consciousness can I be to really, really be integrated with this particular scenario and the next, right? Like
Yeah.
I don't want to relearn this.
Nope. We're done
No.
with this one.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. And so I did. I mean, I processed and I tapped and I breathed through it. I allowed myself to have the cry, and then I asked for, well, like even more expansion around it. And then I asked, what can I do with this?
Yeah.
And that's when I got the message, the clear message, like show up, be strong, be stronger, use it as a fire in your belly. And I was like, yeah, all right, like I got this. And the reason why I said that was because I don't ever want women or anyone, I don't ever want I think that when you follow your passions, you can create a life for yourself that is free from being indebted to others, period. And I'll just leave it at that. But like, this is the way in which you create that freedom for yourself, period.
Yeah.
And if that helps one person, that's all that would ever matter to me.
Yeah. Well, and I think that,
I think Jennifer's like, okay.
well, I like the fire in her belly, and to be honest, I mean, I'm kind of already amped up and everything. So it's like just giving me like all the reason to say, I'm all in with you. I'm just as mad as you are, friend. High five. Like, let's go get this done. Let's
Come with us.
Right?
Doing some shit. Let's go.
Jonas and the Mystique Society, y'all can come with us.
That's right. That is right. We got this. We got this. It's a good thing. Yes. Thank you, Karen. And that might be your message. Thank you. You're right.
Yeah. Yeah. I, when I was tapping into what Ormetus would say about this, I was like, yeah, well, it's sort of like there's the lesson, right? And I was awesome that you found it without it even being pulled out. I think that's great.
Yeah.
So in the other notes I've got here about one of the things that was the common theme on the Saturday show was about expression. And it's so funny that here we're talking about following the energy, being in flow, following the purpose, and then ultimately that comes down to your full self-expression and how we like to run and hide instead of fully express. Or in my case, we found that I had a deep, deep one that I actually thought that this was something that helped me create. And I would make jokes about it, like kind of like, it's almost like it just came out of me.
Yeah.
And then Lianka pinned me to the wall after that phenomenal call on,
great.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I re-listened to that and I was just like, wow, we
Thursday.
were good.
Yeah.
So if you had missed that one, I go back and watch that because that was so fun. We went everywhere,
Yeah.
quite
We'll
literally.
still go everywhere. What do you want to talk about?
So
orbs and
so my
3D?
thing is, and you guys that have been on this show, I even know that you guys will be like, that is Jenna's thing. But this was a hidden, deep, limiting belief thing. And what I kept doing is, this is good, but it's not good enough. I want more. I want more. It's good, not good enough. And it's like there was just this level of unsatisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
It took Lianka a little while to like actually show me that I was being this frequency of never good enough instead of being satisfied, and being the frequency of being satisfied and really in love with each show and each moment and each win that we have.
Yeah.
And now that was here comes the flood works, because I that was so there. And I actually thought that that was the thing that actually helped me, really create, because I was like, if it's never good enough, then I'll keep going, I'll keep going, I'll keep going, I'll keep going, right? And at the end of the day, I got to the point that it was like, fuck this, I am satisfied, and it's just an almost an unacknowledged frequency. So sometimes these limiting belief systems you might actually know are there, but you might need to question them.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
just thought I would share that one, because that really was one that I was like,
Well, thank you for sharing
yeah,
because that's pretty vulnerable.
yeah, I didn't know it was there, kind of thing. I was like almost like, do better, do more. Like it's like, it makes me wonder how much of my high school years that really came in, because it did those that is kind of the season of when that came in my life, where I was like, I can do better. It's just good, but it's not good enough. And and I feel like I've been holding that in a way since then.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
thought it was serving you.
I did
You,
think it was
yeah,
serving me,
yeah,
but it's not a frequency match. How could it serve me?
right. Instead
Yeah.
of being the frequency match of really, and what we were realizing is that, and through or Meta's saying this in some of your channeled messages, is that sometimes when we use words, uh, like when we are really wanting to bring something into the reality that we are in and to have that match, we need to step into and talk with and be as the as if it has already happened,
Mhm.
right? We need to be the frequency as the
Yes.
massive, right?
Like it
Like
is,
the vision, like
like
the
there is no
bigger vision,
separation.
right? Right. And so when we use words like I think or like, right?
Right. But
Those spacer words also create the not having. So there
right,
is,
because so basically you're not entirely being
correct.
it. When you say things like, I think that, or I feel that. We talked about this, I think, in the last show.
And I think
I think we talked about it in the last show, and I actually do think that we think thought about it, talked about it.
I'm not sure that we stayed on it though, because the other day
No, I don't know we
I
stayed
keep
on that
saying
either.
that words are codes, and when
Yep.
she told me that piece, it hit me. It was like, oh my gosh, you need to start using the need to. You will start using the proper words to bring things into fruition and teach others how to use their terminology, because
Yep.
that is what creates in the 3D. So
Yeah. And then went even it deeper
yeah,
into me saying, you know, I know that when I am all in working to transition somebody, to heal somebody, I know it works. But what I don't know is that when their doubt comes in, how much of that doubt do I perceive? And then the whole thing is invalidated in a way. In a way. I mean, it's still a gift, right? But it's still,
but can but
but it
has
could be more potent, and I want more potent.
and
Because it's never good enough. No, just kidding.
but there, see, so did you hear that in her words? It says, I want,
Yep.
instead of I am potency. I am
Yes.
potent.
I'm
So that
working on,
right
I'm
there,
growing here, man.
I'm just pointing it out because I do it too. Those right there, that creates the space, that creates the outside of you. So being it
Yeah.
is the thing that's coming through for
And
everybody.
we
It's
all
like,
know this. It goes back to all those I am affirmations from back in the 80s. I mean, it's like this is not a new message. It just is hitting us a little
yeah,
differently, I think.
Braden talks about it because he says, okay, if you put up these, they were affirmations, and it's like, I will be better. What does that do? Where's the crux there? The
Yes,
crux was
there's
the will,
time. Yeah,
right?
it takes time to be better.
So then, right. So for some people, it's hard to step into I
I
am
am.
better, right? It's hard to
Because it
step into
seems
that.
like a lie.
Right. However, it does because it can, right? But that word right there, when you feel stronger, pull it out,
Mhm.
take the will out and say, I am better, right? Like that is what we're learning and what we're hearing and what we're receiving, like as messages over and over and over. And your words are absolutely everything. Like they are so, gosh, don't even make jokes about yourself. Not
Yeah.
even at, I mean, what was it? Jackie Chan said that. He
But yeah,
says, don't talk about yourself, not even as a joke, because we're spelling, right? We are always casting spells upon ourselves.
it was fun.
Words are potent.
Yesterday after the concert, I came home and it was like 12:30 at night, and I'm like eating a ton of food because I didn't eat dinner. We went at like 4 o'clock and we thought we'd get food there, but all the food was kind of crap. And we were just like, yeah, we can wait. We're not that hungry. And then 11 o'clock when everything was over and Julie and I were walking to the car, we're like, where can we get food? And I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going to be
Nothing
open
open,
around
yeah.
here. It's not like I can just walk anywhere either. And so we get in the car and we're like, well, we could stop at McDonald's but let's just wait till we get home. And so we got home. It was, gosh, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. And I'm like, gobble, gobble, gobble. And then right before I went to bed, I was having all this like bitch chatter to myself. You ate too late. I can't believe you ate that much. I can't believe you scarfed all it down. And I was just like, everything that is never again. And
Ooh.
I just made this really potent demand. I'll let you know if it shows up again. But it was just so, it's like, come on, like, give me a break. I was hungry. you know? And
Yeah.
it's like I'm hard on myself
Yeah.
internally sometimes.
Dang. Shira said, give
Give
yourself
yourself
grace.
grace. Well, that's what I told myself.
Good job.
And I kind of made a demand that I don't need that kind of noise.
And
Because I am, what I am. And I made that choice. I knew we were gonna eat when I came home. I just felt like I ate a little over ate and it was a little late. And so I would like the two together was just like, you're a bad person, Jenna. Now you deserve to get fat.
okay, so here we go. So here we go. So,
Here's the inner dialogue, right? No kidding.
so can y'all see how which one is going to serve her? Which one would she create? Had she chose to believe the one like you deserve to be fat, or I demand everything that is, will I destroy and
Yeah,
uncreate?
and give my
Which one is going to give her the result that she really wants?
correct.
This one, right? There was no need. But if she stayed over here, wouldn't she get exactly what she had asked for? The fat, right?
Yeah.
Right? Like she's gonna get exactly what she asked for, but she chose to make that demand. So even in those moments,
Yeah.
it's like you're making a huge ass fucking decision, and it's going it's going either which way. And that is the crux points of how this is exactly how manifestation works. That's
Yeah.
the crux point.
Right. And ideally, I would have been more mindful and stopped eating and only had like one pizza instead of three,
You're so
you
funny.
know.
Who cares?
No, and I don't anymore. But it was interesting that I was dialoguing in my head, and I don't notice that very often. But since we do have this show, I do feel like some of this stuff is like, it's almost like so innate, but to what we are as human beings.
And that's the reason why we have this show, so that we can call that S out, right?
Right? Yeah.
And here, hopefully, it serves for you too, right? You can
Yeah.
call your own selves out and then be like, okay, cool. I'm going back to that trajectory where I do create the things that I want.
Paula's like, you burned those three
This is
pizzas.
with the calories. That's why you ate them, right?
Yeah.
You're dancing your butt up, I'm sure. I'm
No,
sure you
I
were having
know. I
fun.
was so fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See? I love how I mean, it's funny how we just go through this. We can actually rabbit hole ourselves in that way.
I got sunshine in my pocket.
She's been singing that all morning.
Like I've been singing it all night. Like I can't stop.
Oh, so Caesar says, "Oh my gosh," he's on the YouTube. He says, "What the heck? I knew the speaker was not going to show up today!"
Oh,
Exclamation point.
well,
Caesar,
you
you're
should have told us a
tapping.
couple days earlier. It's so weird because I was just bragging with Leonka when Kenji didn't show up on Thursday. And we know Kenji so well, so we did know he was not very, very ill. And it was kind of funny because it was like, gosh, we did really well. I don't think we had one speaker cancel on us all of 2024.
Yeah.
And then we've had two together.
Isn't that funny? Well,
Mhm.
that's something obviously there's no thing is coincidence, right? So it's
No.
exactly divinely.
And
But
I
see,
love doing the show just with us anyway.
it's fun. It
Yeah,
really is. And
can be.
I love all of y'all chiming in too. It says you two again is what we needed. Oh, thanks, Karen. And Caesar says, I was hoping today would be a huge revelation like a Mandela effect. Well, there we go. We just recreated something. Caesar, you must be opening up your gifts big time. So
Mhm.
keep leaning in, keep sharing with us too, whatever other things that you might be getting as far as revelations for the show.
Yeah, I know
Anybody
this conversation's a little more down to earth, but I think sometimes we've got to come back and go, here are the things,
else?
that do come up. And I think the vulnerability that we're willing to be now, a lot of people can't be in the world. And I think that it's really important for us to come up and say, okay, wait, I'm being this now.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. A cozy chat with friends. Thank you, Manisha.
Mm.
Well, look, if we're not being vulnerable with what we can share, and there are some things that like are private to our families and stuff like
I
that.
don't want to share things that my family members wouldn't
Yeah,
want me to share.
but but I'm an open book, and if it helps somebody, I'm happy to share. For the things that are not like that are available.
Yeah, I think we've reached our evolution and development. There was one other thing I had on our list. Did we want to talk a little bit about hiding? We just have a few more minutes.
Did you want to do a couple of little processes? See if she can zap that right out of me?
Well, I feel like you already zapped it out of you, did you?
Well,
Okay. Well, so I would say, tell me about the sensation that you're feeling now.
oh, so the sensation, it's like right here.
Okay.
And it has, it's like it goes between like, oh, I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
What do I do next? And like the anger for being let down,
Right.
like the
So
betrayal.
what are some of the other colors, the sensations
It's
that you're
definitely
having?
red. It's
Like all
pokey.
fire. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's pokey. It, um,
And when was the first time you felt this in your life that you can remember? How old were you?
mm, probably pretty young. I think probably 6 or 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened then?
I was told a story about my parents fighting, and the story really got me upset. It got me mad. It was, it was just, I don't know how much of it's true, but it was enough to get me pissed.
Uh-huh.
And I was hurt for my mom and, like what happened, right? So I don't know if it was a true story or what, but like the image of it was like, ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then the sucker punch, my next question would be, what's the value of holding on to it? We're going to go back to the other one, but
Okay.
yeah.
The value of holding on to it to protect myself from having that feeling again.
Okay. So the value of holding on to it is so that you know it when it happens again.
Yes, so that so I can basically, so I can ensure that I can make sure that shit never happens to me again, that kind of thing, right? Like that is never going to happen to me again, right? Like so it's like
So what's the value of you putting on that protective coat?
oh, just so that my feelings don't get hurt.
Okay. So everything that is, would you destroy and uncreate?
Yes.
Thank you. Take a breath.
But what
So,
if my feelings get hurt? I need to
okay.
hold on to it.
Did your feelings get hurt anyway, though?
Yeah.
Okay. Were they your feelings?
No.
So this energy, who does this belong to?
I would say my younger self or my mom.
Okay. So everywhere where you're still protecting that younger self, would you go back there and help that poor little girl to be able to express, release your feelings.
Yes.
Anything that doesn't allow it would destroy and uncreate.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And take a breath. And what if it's okay to feel what you feel? What if it's okay to be hurt?
Sure.
She's like, sure, I got it. So, and
No, I get it now. I get it.
I mean, hurt people hurt people.
Sure.
Are you that person?
Am I a heart person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
I don't know. It didn't feel like I I don't feel like I would want to hurt people because I've been hurt. In fact, it's the opposite. It's like because I've been hurt, I don't I go out of my way to make sure people, maybe that's the vulnerability. That's it. I go out of my
Well,
way to
is
make
that
sure.
the gift? Because you're trying to actually take actions
Yeah.
that aren't authentic and clear
Yeah.
actions
Yeah.
because you're trying to please
Yeah.
others.
That's it.
There's a
That's it.
something.
Wow.
Wow, that's a good one. So,
Which would put me in places where more vulnerability.
yeah,
Because I go out of my
because,
way to try to make
yep,
everybody happy to not feel the pain that they feel.
I know. I'm
Yeah,
sorry we
baby.
found that one. Ouch. You see how simple some of this processing work is?
Yes.
Do you feel like you've got a little more? We can talk after the show.
Oh, no, it's fine. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's so much better.
good. Good. Well, so just you guys, I wanted to let you know we put up a page. So if you want to join the New Mystique Society, which begins next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we are probably going to add on some extra talk times with small groups, just so you know. But right now, the only official time that we have is Wednesday at 4 p.m. Pacific time that we're meeting each month. And you get a whole slew of other things. I've written it all up. I've now put the regular $37 a month price point. If that feels lighter, if you just want to try it for 1 month, it's $37. If you want to dive deep and get a huge discount, it's $111. We would love to invite you if this work calls to you. So I want to let you know that that's out there. It's in your email. If you're looking for more information, I will put a little link in the YouTube feed as well. So Dana said, I felt your emotions, Leonka. Yeah.
Oh, and the
And some of the
clearing in your
clearings, yeah, solar
plexus.
plexus, yeah. Well, wouldn't that be exactly where it would be too? Because that is all about true self-expression and power, it's self-empowerment, and all those
Yeah.
things.
Dina's also part of our Mystique Society, and she's definitely come into her
Yes.
gifts, really. Like she can read me now, right? Like you can see that on the chat too. So it's pretty amazing what we've been able to all do for each other
There.
here.
Yeah. So, and just to kind of talk about it for a minute, it's funny because I feel like we're so connected in that group. Shara sent me a text one morning and it's like, I don't know what this may mean, but it's for you. And it just had a couple words. It may come out on the show later,
How
but
fun.
it's just like,
She knew it was for you.
She knew it was for me. And then I was like, I don't understand. And then she's like, helped me understand. And it was like, oh, of course.
That's awesome. That's
Right?
so awesome.
Yeah.
Caesar says, wow, I really enjoyed the conversation or topic. Sending
Good.
lots of love.
Oh,
Yay.
that was sweet.
Nice. Very good. Thank you. Thank you.
So on Thursday, we have my dear friend Megan Silato. She will show up. She's very excited. Uh, where she does this really, really cool kind of work with your imagination and questing to help you, unlock some of your manifesting gifts, so to
Ooh, I
speak.
like that.
So it's a really, really different thing. And I can't wait for you to talk about it.
Dana said that she saw a license plate that said Mystique this morning.
I love
I
that.
love that. Thank y'all. Man, this is fun. It's super cool to be
You
with
hardly
y'all.
ever see that word.
I know. And I know it'll be showing up in everyone's like little conscious for those that it's calling to.
It was funny when one of my first classes I did was a dragon course. And I did, oh, so this is like something cool that I used to do all the time. I probably do it more because it seemed to work. We have brought it into the show, but I was for manifesting, I would bring in this energy ball and I would expand out and say, all of the people on this earth and in this universe that can contribute to this vision, to this course, or whatever I was doing at the time, let it be. Like it was just like it was kind of like just for fun, don't tell anyone that I do these kind of things. And I was like, and then at one point I was like, and give them a sign
Oh,
that they
cool.
know that it's for them.
Yeah.
Like just in some way let them know.
Yeah.
And I had two people in this course that had seen dragons.
Oh, how
And
fun.
and that's why they decided to show up.
Oh,
That's fun.
very cool.
Yeah.
I do believe that this stuff is really cool, and you'll know if it's calling to you too. Just ask if, ask for a sign if you want to, and then or a sign for whatever it is that maybe your next step, right? What will benefit you.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I
but
mean,
continue to keep showing up here to Tuesday and Thursdays.
it's funny. I put on my 777 necklace and I realized like really early on in the show that it's already fallen off. And I thought that was so funny after she had lost her 444. We're gonna have to re-up our numerology for
But I've
2025.
been seeing 222 lately.
So maybe you
And
need a
yeah, I guess
2
so. I
1.
guess I'm moving up, moving through something, right?
I've been seeing the
That was
ones more, so maybe I need a one.
Yeah,
one.
right. Change it up, right?
Yeah.
Basically the 222 is basically everything is, trust the process, everything's divinely guided. And I've been needing to hear that lately. So it's
Cool.
really, really a lot about like it's totally unfolding the way it should be. And
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, okay, cool. I got this.
Yeah.
Um, oh, 444 is in my initials. Oh,
Oh,
cool.
very nice.
I was working with one of my dragons early before this morning, before waking. I love that. Very cool. I feel like dragons.
I'm a little jealous of people who have crystalline drag. No, just kidding. I'm
Jealous, definitely. We just worked on all kinds of stuff.
I did. Sometimes I just have to put that in there to just jab people to see it. Like they go, interesting point of view.
Yeah.
Dragon girl.
Something for me to call out. That's all. Well, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. We've really enjoyed having you. Of course,
Yes.
everything that we do does go back to rising-up.org. Not everything,
Portion.
another portion. But everything
But it
that
does.
we do goes back to contributing to the higher consciousness, and we definitely love having you be here. Thank you, and we'll see you on Thursday.
Yep, sounds good. Bye, everyone.